Good evening and welcome to The Vegetarian Way, third in our series this month, and I trust you will enjoy it tonight. My name is, for those who don't know, my name is Paul Chapman. I'm the pastor of the church here, and this is something for those who haven't been here before. This is something that we do for the community as a way of helping others improve their health, improve their lifestyle, that they might live a happier and healthier life here and in preparation for the world to come. And so that's what it's all about. And we're looking forward to that time when there's going to be no more sickness, suffering, death and tears. I'm looking forward to that world. And but you know what? To lessen the suffering, our marvellous Creator has given us some wonderful principles of health and the very foods and that we need. He's created for us to give us the optimum health that we can possibly have in this life. So that's what it's all about here, and sharing all this information with you, both in head knowledge as well as our stomach knowledge, yeah? And the way to the man's heart is through the stomach, right? So it's a bit of heart knowledge as well through the stomach. So with this now, I'd like to invite you just to bow your heads if you are able to, as we invite God's blessing upon us. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity we have here today to share these health recipes, Lord, and this information that you provided for us, given us this wisdom and understanding. May you bless everyone here, bless us in our presentations, and may everyone be blessed by the recipes that are presented tonight, and also may they go away with wisdom and understanding of how to apply these recipes in their own diets and in their own homes, Lord, that they can be healthier and happier people, and that we can be a blessing and a wonderful witness for you wherever we go. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Who's here for the first time tonight? No? All right. Some of you here for first time? These two? Oh, wonderful. Welcome. And I trust you'll get a blessing from tonight's presentations. Before we do, as you all know, those usually here know, we start off with a short presentation, maybe 20 minutes or so, just of some health information, and then we follow up with some recipes to demonstrate on the vegetarian way. So I haven't been here for the first two. Were they good? Yeah? That's good. I saw some recipes there that were left over from those previous two nights. Looking forward to taking home some of those. I've been away with my wife, Deborah, and we were overseas visiting our son and daughter-in-law who live in America, in Washington State. And it was nice and cool over there when we went there, and we've come back to cool as well. I don't know how that worked out. It's north and south, right in the middle of that period of the crossovers between the seasons. But I'm glad that you enjoyed it last two presentations. Tonight, as a result of those presentations, Michael, did you meet Michael? Yeah. Michael, you here? Is he? It's at the table there. There's Michael, thank you. Michael is Postolacci from Austria, as you know, and he's here and having some, I guess you call it some field experience. He's sent him over here to give it to us here in Australia to knock him into shape, and then send him back to Austria, you know. So he's here for a couple of years, and at least for the time being here in Sydney based. So, and your wife as well, Anna Maria. So thank you. Thanks, Michael. And Michael emailed me with your suggestions in the surveys that you were given, and one of those suggestions was some information on the health and environmental benefits of a vegetarian diet. So you probably, for some of you, this is, maybe you've known all this for many years. There are some here maybe that don't know everything. So I just want to share a few thoughts, 10 main thoughts, and I'm going to break it down a little bit with some stats for you and some on those benefits. So looking tonight, the vegetarian way, we're looking at the benefits of a vegetarian diet. So firstly, we have the health benefits. Number one, has to do with our heart health. A vegetarian diet improves heart health. How? Well, studies have found that a vegetarian diet reduces the risk of heart disease by 32% compared with a meat diet. So if you have heart troubles, you're on the right pathway in choosing a vegetarian diet. Also, plant-based diets are associated with lower cholesterol and blood pressure, which again reduces cardiovascular risks. So these are two main points in regard to heart health and how the vegetarian diet can improve your heart in these ways by reducing these risks. The second benefit in health is better weight management. We right? Joe? Coming through? Yep. Better weight management. Research shows that vegetarians tend to have a lower body mass index and are less likely to be obese. Now, that depends. It's true, vegetarians are less likely to be obese. That is, if you are eating a proper plant-based diet. Now, you can eat a plant-based diet of potatoes, can't you? Potatoes are plant-based. But if you source your potatoes from KFC every week, what's that going to result in? Well, it's a vegetarian diet for sure, but you're going to end up obese. And there's going to be some other side effects from that. Why? Because of the way the food's prepared. Okay? The way the food's prepared, high in fats, and that has its adverse effects on the system as well. I can testify to this. Those who follow me on Facebook, I shared a little experience a couple of months back. In September of last year, I told you, I think in the previous October series, I said I was a little bit overweight. I wanted to lose some weight. And I had just started on something, I'll try something out, and it was slow. It was something that required some discipline, but it was something that was easy to do. And after 5 months, I lost 10 kilograms. And all I didn't change what I was eating, I changed how I was eating and how much I was eating. Do you know that? Just how you eat and how much you eat. And in that way, I was able to lose 10 kilograms, just like that. So what I was doing was I was reducing my portion sizes and reducing, it was called intermittent fasting, but it's not I've tried the one that's like 8 hours eating window, 16 hours not eating window. So 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours in between that window of a day that you eat. That wasn't working for me. I was trying that, it wasn't working, but what I tried was the original way of doing it, which was the person who came up with this about a decade or so ago. He was a diabetic, cured himself of diabetes through it. It was 5-2, it's called. 5 days on, 2 days off. 5 days normal eating, 2 days reducing your intake to less than 500 calories a day. Now, to give you an idea, the average person's lifestyle would require about 2,000, for a woman maybe 1,800, 2,000 calories, a man maybe 2,200 calories. So you can reduce it 2 days a week to a quarter of that. And I did that over a 5-month period, and I chose not the weekend, because the weekend is the time of socialising, church, family, and eating, right? And so I chose Mondays and Thursdays. And as a result of that, over a 5-month period, reducing it to 500 on those days, I did weigh. You know what I found out? It's very interesting. Even though, if you look here, food, there's a diet that's naturally high in fibre, which helps regulate appetite and metabolism. High in fibre. So I pulled out the muesli. Oh, that's high in fibre, but it's high in carbohydrates as well. And so when I decided, I used to have, a whole bowl full of this muesli. And they were muesli, they were the crunchy muesli with the, And so I put this, I'd have a full bowl of this and it would be full go off, not realising how much calories that was. And what I found out was then maybe I'll just weigh it according to the recommended serving size. Has anyone ever done that? I took the box and I looked on the side. What's the recommended serving size? It said 40 grams. Oh, okay. So I took the scales out, put my bowl on there, weighed out 40 grams, and I had 3 dessert spoons in my bowl. That was it. That's all. That is so concentrated in carbohydrates. I didn't realise how concentrated it was. So I thought, I don't know if I can manage this. So what I did, what's the Wheat Bix? What's the serving size of Wheat Bix? And I looked at that. 2 biscuits. I used to have 4. All right, I'll take 2 of those and I'll add 2 of those to this serving size. And there you go. I cheated a bit, but I thought, at least I was getting something. I was getting 1 serving size of that one and 1 serving size of that one. Anyway, that was my breakfast, and I did that 5 months and 10 kilograms. So I'm just saying it's not so much as what you eat, but how you eat that and how much you eat it. So fresh fruit, and guess what? An apple, guess how many calories is in an average size apple? Anyone know? Say again? Huh? No, less. 50 calories. 50. So I realised on my off days I could have 10 apples. Hey, this is just a standard size apple, right? About a cricket ball size apple. And they're very filling though, because why are they filling? Because they're high in fibre and they're a prebiotic fibre. When you start digesting those, signals are sent to your natural gut bacteria that says, we've got some fibre coming in, and your gut bacteria says, this is wonderful. It says, we've had enough now, and it sends a signal to your stomach saying, that's enough, we're full. And so it turns off the hunger impulse. Do you know that? The guts say, no, we're happy with this. You have a low fibre or high processed fibre, it doesn't have the same effect. So I just found that with apples is really good. I could eat 2 apples, that's 100 calories. I go home and have a slice of bread, that's 90 calories. What? 1 slice of bread, 90 calories, but 2 apples, I'll have the 2 apples over the slice of bread. It's how you eat sometimes. So you can be a vegetarian and still be obese because we're missing some of the key ways of how to apply it in our everyday habits. So in doing that, though, it worked for me. I'm just sharing that with you. I hope that maybe you'll get something from that for yourselves. So looking now at our next benefit is the reduced risk of chronic diseases. Studies indicate that vegetarians have 14% lower risk of cancer, particularly colorectal cancer. Okay, colorectal cancer, that's cancer of the colon. Okay, so that's a fact. All right, 14% lower risk, and a plant-based diet also reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes by improving insulin sensitivity. Okay, a plant-based diet will do that for you as well. So in this way, it also leads to better digestive health. Studies indicate that foods high in high fibre foods, I should say, in vegetarian diets, I've already mentioned this before, they promote gut microbiome health, reducing digestive issues. As I said, if you're hungry, eat something that's high in fibre and preferably fresh, and you'll be more satisfied than you would be eating something that's highly processed, like a muesli bar what you buy from the shop or something. But eating an apple, when you go to in a motel breakfast, we stayed in a motel for a couple of nights on our recent trip, and the breakfast bar is there, and you've got all these processed cereals and everything, and toast and waffles and everything, and there's the apples and the bananas there. How many people go for the apples and bananas? Hardly anybody. Everybody will go for the hot breakfast and the toast and the baked beans and the eggs and the whatever. If you're in the meat or the carnivores, they'll go for the meat products there. But how many of us go for those bananas and apples? So keep this in mind. High in fibre, the highest fibre foods are those that are fresh fruits and vegetables. All right. They're going to also reduce your risk of constipation and irritable bowel syndrome. Okay, there's a couple of other digestive health benefits. Also, another health benefit is that a vegetarian diet is nutrient-rich and a balanced diet. Vegetarian diet provides essential vitamins and antioxidants supporting overall well-being. And this is, when we say vegetarian, my son's been terming it a whole plant-based diet. Whole plant-based, whole foods, plant-based, whole foods diet. A plant-based whole foods diet. That's the optimum diet to live on if you want to experience the greatest benefits of all these things. Okay? Also, fibre, what have we got here? A well-planned vegetarian diet meets all of our nutritional needs, including protein, iron, and omega-3 fatty acids. I was giving some invitations out a couple of years ago, and I came across one house where there was a man outside washing his car, but he was a big fella, bodybuilder. He had that bodybuilder look, and he said, "No thanks, what is this?" And I told him what it was. "No thanks." He was a pure meat eater. He said, "No, you need to eat meat." And I just went back to him and I said, I just had a conversation. I said, "Look, I'm just curious. Why do you say that we need to eat meat? Why do you have that idea?" And he started to explain to me, "Well, you just can't get your protein or whatever from meat." I said, "Well, where does meat come from?" He said, "Cattle." "Well, where do cattle get their protein from?" "Oh, look, go away." So, fair enough. The cattle get their protein from grass. Now, we haven't got the digestive system of cows to digest grass. No, we don't. But yet, there is protein in grass, right? And so there is protein in leafy greens that we can digest. Your salad vegetables, your leafy greens are high in iron, they're high in fibre, and they're high in, there's protein in just about everything. So we can get all that we need from from a plant-based diet. Looking just very quickly now at some environmental benefits. Do you know that if we want to lower greenhouse gas emissions, we should eat less meat and consume more vegetables? 49.6% fewer greenhouse gas emissions are produced by vegetarian diets than compared to a meat-based diet. So if you want to halve the greenhouse gas emissions that's contributed to food production, meat versus vegetarian, 50% of that target could be achieved in that realm by simply switching to vegetarian. We don't hear that being promoted by any of the political parties, do we? No, we don't. And yet it's true. It's true. Also, and you don't hear this either, livestock farming contributes to 14% of global greenhouse gas emissions, making plant-based diets a more sustainable choice. Yes?
Cars are only about 1%.
Right. Okay. Okay, thank you. So, lowering of greenhouse gas emissions. If you want to help the environment, go vegetarian. Another benefit for the environment is it conserves natural resources. Why? Because vegetarian diets require 26.9% less energy for food production, reducing environmental strain. So almost 30% less energy is required for food production if we go, for vegetarian diets. So that's interesting. Livestock farming uses significantly more water than plant-based agriculture, and this is a particular problem when it comes to water shortages. Okay? So this is another benefit of plant-based diets. It produces, or rather protects biodiversity and ecosystems. By that we mean that large-scale animal agriculture leads to deforestation and habitat destruction, threatening wildlife. If you consider how much, for example, grazing of cattle, how much grassland is required, for a pound of or a kilogram of beef per hectare versus plant-based protein per hectare, it's a huge amount of land is required to produce that 1 kilogram of beef versus 1 kilogram of a plant-based protein. So it's good to protect the environment. We don't have to destroy so much of the ecosystem if we go plant-based. Also, when it comes to fish, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm a vegetarian, can I please have that fish sandwich? No, fish is not vegetarian. A lot of people think fish is probably more healthier than red meat, but fish is still fish. It moved before it was on your plate. All right? I remember going somewhere, and my dad, his partner for many years, they prepared a meal for us, and she said, "Oh, here, Paul, can you eat this?" And she has some seafood on this. She said, "No, I'm sorry, I can't eat anything that was moving before you cooked it." She said, "Oh, okay." So some people don't get that, but fish is not part of a vegetarian diet, and overfishing depletes marine populations, while plant-based diets support ocean conservation. Okay, and the last point here is pollution. A plant-based diet reduces pollution. Farming factory contributes to water contamination due to manure runoff and chemical waste. And by factory farming we mean, for example, chickens, your eggs you get from the supermarket. Where do those eggs come from? Oh, they came from chickens. But how are those chickens cared for? How are they set up by the producer to produce those eggs? You go to some factory chicken farms, and it's very sad how those chickens are just all their life they're spent in the cages like that. And other places you go, oh, these are free range. Well, the free range is a free range, but it's having hundreds chickens per metre or something, square metre in a big cage. Oh, they're free range, but they're not free range. A free range chook, as far as I understood, when my grandparents used to live across the road from a dairy farm. You go across the road and there's their free range chooks. Where are they? They're all over the shop, all over the paddocks everywhere. They're roaming free, just pecking away at the ground. That's a free range chook, and there's no such thing as free range eggs. Not like that do I see. I'd like to see some confirmed before you could look at those. But these farming because they're so concentrated in that kind of environment, there's a lot of waste, there's a lot of cleaning to be happening, there's a lot of contamination as a result of the chemical runoffs and whatnot. All those chemicals have to go somewhere that they use to clean those farms. A plant-based diet also leads to less environmental waste, keeping air and water cleaner. So these statistics and case studies highlight just some of the most significant benefits of a plant-based diet, both for your health and for the environment. So, any questions? No? How are we going for time? Pretty good for time. Okay, thank you very much. Now tonight we have for you three dishes that we're going to demonstrate, and I believe the first one is going to be risotto vegetable soup. And Rosetta's going to demonstrate that. Now, if you look at the recipe sheets, that if you've got them all there, everyone's got a copy of these? Yep, anyone doesn't have a copy? Okay, you don't? Okay, well, I can give you mine. And Michael, do you have another one you could just bring here? Oh, you've got those, yeah? You do. No, you're right, you've got it there. Okay, that's what we're going to demonstrate first up. But I just wanted to make a point here. On the second one, spinach and artichoke dip, this was erroneously, it got somehow collated together with these. This won't be presented tonight. It has been presented in the past. All right? So if you'd like to see that demonstrated, maybe you can go back on our YouTube channel. For those who don't know, we do broadcast these on YouTube. And our Schofield's Church, just look up Schofield's Church on YouTube, and you'll look up for our cooking demonstrations, Vegetarian Way, and you'll see those there. And you'll probably find this up there in one of the recipes. But if you like, you could probably just go home and try it out yourself and see how you go. Okay, so thank you. I'll just see if Rosetta, if she's right for us now. Just 1 minute.
Okay, is that better? Aha, there we go. Good one. This might be in our way. Paul? Okay, we've got a yummy soup tonight. First thing we're going to do is our onion. We like to use onion. We're European. We use onion a lot. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's just a matter of a bit of olive oil. We're just going to saute saute the onion. We've got 2 onions, nice and chopped, finely chopped. A little bit of olive oil. That you can always adjust the way you like it. And then it's just a matter of really, can you put the jug on for me, please? Just a matter of adding what vegetables you like. This one we've done carrots and peas and potato, nice hearty vegetable soup. What we have to do now, we've got to wait for the onion to start to turn brown, not to go brown, but just about to. So it needs to start to caramelise a little bit. And if ever anybody is hungry in the house and you start doing this, doing onions on the stove, wow, the juices just start going. You can feel it straight away. Makes you hungry when you just smell onions. You'll be smelling it in a sec. Did anyone try any of your recipes from last week? Did you have a go? Yes? Yeah? Good one. Good one. I did the slice that I did last week, I actually made it again this morning, and I thought when I get home it'll be nice and cold and I can take it out and then I can slice it up and put it in the oven. So, because I love that, and I love it just as it's like bread substitute. And actually, if you eat just the slice on its own, it actually tastes like egg. I don't know if you tried that because it's the chickpeas. It actually tastes like egg. And I thought, wow, that's incredible. So you could even do that and chop it up and put it in a fried rice or something as an egg substitute if you wanted. Yes, Veronica? Yeah.
When I tasted that, I said, there's my recipe to stuff my artichokes.
So you tasted it well as well, yeah. Yeah, I thought too. I thought, wow, this tastes like egg. It's incredible because you can use, if you want to use like a egg substitute in like patties or something, if you need something to bind them, use chickpea flour instead of egg. And that helps bind your product together, just like egg does. So if you don't want to use egg, you can use chickpea flour. Okay, it's just starting to, which camera am I looking at? This one? This one? No, this one. Must be a delay. That's a delay, okay. All right, it's just starting. I need the water. So now it's just a matter of adding most of your vegetables, carrot. It's just been chopped up in an alligator slicer, like cubed up. You can do it how you like. Potato. Capsicum. Capsicums are really good, especially in the winter time. Like now, they're actually coming into their own at the end of summer. In autumn, you get more and more of the nice red capsicums. They're very high in vitamin C, so very good for you at this time of year too. Celery. I don't know if I've ever told you the story about celery. My husband never liked it. Parsley and celery, no. And anyway, once he was in the city and he'd ordered a salad. And he got this salad and he thought, oh, he'll just cross the bridge and sit down somewhere, find somewhere in a park and he'll eat this salad, right? So he does. He buys the salad and goes back in the car and drives over the bridge and finds a nice spot to eat. And he opens up the salad and half of it is celery. Half of it. And he said, oh no, it was too far, too much traffic, too much bother to go back and complain about this salad. So he started eating, oh, he'll have this piece, and he'll have this piece, and he'll have this piece. And anyway, he ended up eating half of the salad with the celery, and now he eats celery. So, you know, it's sort of like, well, when push comes to shove, you have to do it. You have to do it. Okay, we're going to add, well, this jug is 1.7, but I filled it up a little bit extra, so it's about 2 litres. And I'm not sure that it actually says on the recipe. Does it say how much water? Anyway, about 2 litres. Amy was supposed to be here tonight. She called in sick. So she says, I'll do everything, you just demonstrate it for me. I said, okay. So this is Amy's recipe. She says she makes this for her husband many, many times, and he loves it. Now, this just needs to cook. We're going to put some salt in it. We've got 3 stock cubes, the Marcel vegetable stock cubes. Nice lot of flavour in there. And just a teaspoon of salt. Yep, got him. So this just needs to cook up a bit. Once the vegetables start to soften, we'll add the risoni. And the risoni is just a pasta, sort of like a noodle thing. We're going to add, I think on your recipe it says 300 grams. Yeah, okay. It's only 250. So, we're only using half the packet. A packet is 500 grams. So we're only using half the packet. But I mean, that's here nor there. If you like it a bit, you can just add a bit more water if it gets a bit too thick. So hopefully out the back there, they're serving up the soup. Yep, okay. So this just needs to cook up a bit. And we might get Deborah out here to start her recipe while this is cooking. Needs to come to the boil and just start to soften. So maybe I'll explain to you what I'm going to do, because Deborah's going to do her demonstration, and then while she's doing it, I'll just do what I need to do, but I'll explain it to you now, what I'm going to do. So what I need to do when this is nearly cooked, I need to add the risoni. I'm going to add half of this packet just into it, and let it boil again, let it come to the boil, and this needs to cook for about 7 minutes. And then when that's done, we can add the baby peas to it. You can add them a little bit sooner, you don't have to wait till the end, till this is fully cooked, because sometimes it depends on the peas. Even though they're baby peas, sometimes they cook up quickly, sometimes not so quickly. But that's what I'm going to do, that's how the soup's made. And then it's ready to go. What do you think? Tastes all right? Of course, you can adjust your salt, adjust your oil, adjust your vegetables. Yeah, we'll swap out with Deborah. You can call Deborah out. I'll leave that. Okay, I'll pass on to Deborah. Just a sec, I'll give you the mic.
That's it?
Yeah.
Thanks, Rosetta. So how did you enjoy that? Nice? Very good? That's great. So now while Deborah's just miking up there, if you want to turn to the 3rd page. No, sorry. Are you going to do... Actually, the 4th page, which is Holiday Nut Loaf. It's the 4th page. Holiday Nut Loaf. And Deborah's going to present this tonight. And I can testify that this is a nice recipe. I was the guinea pig, and she experimented on me with this recipe, and I've lived to tell the tale that that it works, and it's very healthy, very nice too. All right, okay, all good.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Deborah. Thank you.
Can you hear me through this? No. Can you hear me through the mic? Yes. Yes? Yes. I don't have a very loud voice, sorry, but I'll try my best. So this recipe, the first recipe, is it's like a vegetarian meatloaf. And the reason why it's called a holiday nut loaf is you can have it with gravy and mashed potatoes in the holiday season. And there's different variations of it. The way that I'm going to do it is with walnuts today. So I have two separate bowls, and I'm going to do the wet ingredients in the small bowl, and I'm going to do the dry ingredients in the big bowl. So I'm actually going to jump down to the bottom and do the dry ones first. So it's the last three ingredients on that page. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the soft whole grain breadcrumbs. Now, I just wanted to let you know, all it is you're taking a slice of fresh bread and you're tearing it up and you put it in the blender and you make breadcrumbs out of that. We tried with toasted breadcrumbs, you know, the packet breadcrumbs, but it doesn't come out as nice. You can do it either way, but if you use the dried breadcrumbs, you'd use half the amount. So the fresh breadcrumbs is 4 cups. And I don't know if you have the camera on, but that's what it looks like. It's very light and it's pretty small. Okay, as I'm pouring it in, you can see what they look like. So I just put those through the blender. And then the nuts, I chose walnuts. I'm going from the bottom up. And, okay, here's the walnuts. I've put them through the blender as well because it's a loaf. I really didn't want so many pieces, but I wasn't extra careful to get rid of all the pieces because it is a loaf. I just left some in there. So it's just kind of a chunky blend on the walnuts. So that's 2 cups of walnuts. And then the other thing in here is raw onion. And the onion is what makes it kind of moist as well. So it's 2 cups of finely chopped onions. And I'm really sorry, these are going to smell a bit like onions. So that's all my dry ingredients. Now for the wet, thank you. For the wet ones, I start off with tofu. And again, I just took a block of firm tofu and I kind of tore it up and squashed it to measure it into the cup. So that's the tofu. It's not really mashed or anything. And it's firm tofu. And I've actually forgot to measure out the water. So when someone comes through, I'll get them to get me the water. I forgot to put the water out. So it's the tofu, and then I have garlic powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder. You can use fresh, but I found the powder has a stronger flavor. Then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And the Worcestershire sauce is optional. It just adds a little bit extra flavor. I need some water. I need half a cup of water. Sorry, I forgot it. Okay, so the Worcestershire sauce is optional. Paprika is also optional, but it also makes a nicer color in the loaf. And then 1/4 cup corn flour. Then 1 tablespoon of onion powder. So it's very strong onion, but you don't really taste that when it's baked. It's not overpowering. 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And the salt, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Do you have a cup, a measuring cup? Okay. Now, I'll just show you. I've taken the recipe from this book, which we sell at the store downstairs, but I've kind of changed it a little bit. I've adapted it. I find that's what I generally do. I try things and then I change it as it suits. But this, they say to put through the blender. It's very hard to get out of the blender because it's only half a cup of water and it's not much water and it sticks all in your blender. So I use the stick blender. It's much easier to clean and it's just, I'll show you when it's finished because I'm just going to blend this up now. So it's half a cup of water. And then I'm going to whiz this up with the stick blender just over here. So this is what I'm using. Where is that spoon? I'm going to have to give you this because this could be a little bit messy. All right, so that's not so hard to clean. Okay. All right, so this is what this looks like. It's just that way. This way, that way. The other one? Oh, it's back to front, is it? So it's kind of sloppy. Yeah? It's kind of sloppy.
It's like that.
It's coming out. Okay. Now, next. So this is what's going to go in here. And then, like, if you don't eat certain of these ingredients, you may be able to substitute something else, the seasonings that you eat, instead of the onions. I'm not sure. Maybe you could do like another vegetable that's got a lot of water content, because those onions are actually, like, they're going to make it very moist. And now you need to mix this with your hands. So I'm just going to put gloves on. Yeah, maybe zucchini. Zucchini would be a very watery vegetable. You could grate zucchini, and then maybe you could use some ginger instead of the, I don't know what's going on here. Some ginger instead of the onion and the garlic. Some of those spices, that might work if you're not eating onions and garlic. Zucchini is a very watery vegetable. So I'm going to now mix with my hands, as this is there's no other way to do this properly is without doing it with your hands. And it's going off the table. So you just want to mix it all together, squeeze it through, and then when you're finished, you're going to press it into the loaf pan, and then we're going to bake this in the oven. You need to press it hard because it's going to be a loaf, otherwise it's crumbly, but it will turn out to be a loaf if you press it in hard. And the other thing you want to do, I need the spatula still, you want to make sure that the top of it is level, that it's flat, because after it's baked, you're going to flip it. And if it's not level, it's not going to sit properly. I learned that one by experiments. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's pretty mixed through, and it's still very loose.
Show the camera. Show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still kind of crumbly, but I'm packing it in here now, and I've lined my tin with baking paper, and I put a little bit of oil in it as well. And this is all going to fit in here. So I'm going to press it down really hard. Okay, and it looks like it's coming over the top, but it's... So you press it firmly down, and then I kind of take the spatula and I kind of try to make it a bit flat, even. Otherwise, it doesn't turn out as nice when you flip it. Let's see, that piece of onion's a little bit too big. Okay, so that's basically the loaf. And then you cover it with aluminium foil. I put baking paper first and then aluminium foil. And then you bake this for an hour. After the hour, you take off the aluminium foil and the baking paper and you let the top brown. So once, so that's an hour and a half all up. Once the hour and a half is finished, you take it out and you let it sit. You let it sit for, I would say, probably 15, 20 minutes until it's starting to set. And then you get what you're going to serve it on, a plate or a tray, and then you put the tray and you flip it, and it will stay together better if you let it sit longer. And even if you let it sit, well, a few hours, but even if you, once you've flipped it, you set it in the fridge overnight, it turns out well. So that's what it looks like. And then that also is the sauce that I'm going to demonstrate. The sauce, after we flipped it, we let it sit, and then we poured a little bit of the sauce over the top and stuck it back in the oven for about 10-15 minutes. So it's a sweet and sour sauce. You can do another type of gravy if you want, but that's what we'll demonstrate. So
you're leaving it sit. After you pull it out of the oven, you're letting it stand basically in the baking tray, in the baking dish,
yes.
I mean?
Yes.
Until, what, 20 minutes you said, 25?
I'd say 15, 20
15, 20
minutes at
minutes.
least, but that's what it looks like in the pan.
Yeah, because that's going to be the flat surface. That's got to be fairly flat, you're saying, so it doesn't
So
collapse
this
when you
one
turn it upside down.
will go in the oven. So we'll just take it back there. We're not going to probably take it here. Do you want me to do the sauce now, and then are you ready? Sorry?
I can put it in now.
You do yours now? Do you want the...
So I'll just have that mic. 2 seconds.
Oh.
Thanks, Paul. Okay, I think our vegetables, because they're cut quite fine, not big chunks, they're starting to soften. You can feel it under they're much softer than what they were. So now it's just a matter of putting in your rissoning. So I'll do that now. I'm assuming you all know what rissoning is. It's just a type of pasta. This looks like huge rice, yeah. So now that I've added that, this needs to cook up now. And when, it needs what did we say, 7 minutes it needs. So after about 2-3 minutes, we can put the peas in, the baby peas. And then that all cooks up together. And then once the peas are done, the risotto should be done, and your soup's done. And that's it. Okay. I'll leave that. Deborah, you can continue.
Okay, the sweet and sour sauce is mainly just everything in the blender except for the corn flour. So we're putting in some raw vegetables, and because of the raw vegetables, we are going to cook this first before we add the corn flour. So this is going to cook for it's going to simmer for about 10 minutes before we actually thicken it. Because otherwise it tastes like it's raw vegetables, and we don't want that taste. We want a saucy taste. So the first thing in the sauce is 3 cups of pineapple juice. And then 1 400-gram tin of diced tomatoes. Half a cup of tomato paste. A tablespoon of honey. I should have brought a spoon out here. I'll just use her knife. This honey is very thick. I won't be able to get this out. So we're combining some...
So you could use sugar instead of the honey?
You could.
Yeah.
We're just combining some sweet and some savory tastes in here to give you a sweet and sour sauce. Okay, the next thing is an onion, just quartered. So that's just going to go in. 1 green capsicum cut in quarters. That's what I mean. You really want to cook this for 10 minutes so that the onion and the capsicum is cooked. Okay. 3 cloves of garlic, minced. And it depends how smooth you want your sauce. If you don't want to blend it completely, it's up to you, but you just want the capsicum and the onion blended And I think the reason why they mince the garlic is you don't want a piece of garlic. It's easier to miss that when you're blending. Use your knife. A teaspoon of basil. A teaspoon of salt or to taste. I found that, to me, it's a good amount. A tablespoon of onion powder. Okay, and the corn flour we're not going to add yet. So I'm just going to blend this, and I'm going to make a paste out of the corn flour and a little bit of water. And after 10 minutes of simmering, I'm going to add the corn flour. So I'm going to blend this first. So I'm going to need this and, yeah, thank you. All right. And then that's what it looks like. It goes darker red. Ooh.
When does it go darker? When you cook it, is it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to need a bigger pot.
Say again?
I think I'm going to need a bigger pot. That's going to go over. I think the pot's too small. What do you think? Or do you think it'll go over?
You still need to put something in it.
Hmm? I've put corn flour.
Oh, yeah, too big a bowl.
Yeah, I might.
Take that out. I'll put it in a bigger one.
Okay, we're just going to get a bigger one. So once that's cooked, as I said, the meatloaf or the not meatloaf, once you've turned it over on the tray, I put it on a biscuit tray on baking paper. I added some of the sauce, stuck it back in the oven, and then there's extra sauce for the when you serve. With the sauce, I'd probably do about 15 minutes. Yes. So I'm just going to make a paste out of the corn flour. Thanks. And how do I turn this on? All right, so we're going to be here for a little bit finishing up. I just want to make a paste out of the corn flour. I should have had a spoon, but no, it just uses. So you can use any nuts, like it says in the, or some seeds instead of walnuts if you prefer a different nut for the loaf. But I'm going to have to wait till it boils and then 10 minutes, so I'm going to be here for a little bit. And is Vivian going to start, or what are we going to do? So it starts going that darker reddish color before you put the corn flour in. I don't know if they have any other questions. Did you have any other questions? Yes. For the sweetener? Yes, yes.
That's it? Yep.
That's it. I'm
That's
just
it?
going to be here.
Okay, thank you very much. So how does that taste all right? Good? Yeah. So again, this one here? Yeah, this is just so you can see this and those on the screen. Whoop. That's what it looks like. Okay, and that size there made 10 slices, and we've sliced it in half, so you get about 10 slices out of that. Like 2 of those halves together would be 1 slice of this, so we make about 10 slices there, to give you an idea. So that 1 loaf would do about 10 servings there. So that's quite good. And yeah, and when Deborah was saying, try this, do you like? And I said, yeah, I'll try it. And I kept on trying it and trying it. You're going to have to make 2 loaves now, because you already used up half the loaf. Because I kept on trying it for lunch. I need a bit more of this, a bit more of that, yes. Okay, so thanks, Deborah, and glad you appreciated that. Thank you. So now we've got Vivian with some, well, you've had this entree, which was the soup, then we've got the main, and now we've got the dessert, yeah? Correct? We have apple custard slice. Thank you.
Okay, are we on? Testing, testing, okay. Yes? Okay. Hi everyone, good evening. Enjoying your meal so far? Yes? Okay, so we're going to do an apple custard slice. Let me just stuff all that in there before I burn a hole through it. We're going to start with the base, which is sort of like a crumb base. We're going to start with we've got a lined baking tray. It's a pretty good size actually. We're going to warm our nut butter and maple syrup. Either stick it in a glass microwavable bowl and just microwave it for a few seconds to warm up. Otherwise, we're going to do it on the stove really quickly. So I'm using almond butter for this recipe, but feel free to swap that out for peanut, for cashew, pecan, whatever kind of nut you want. That is spicy. Sorry, right-handed. And turn that down. Okay. So we've got nut butter going in there. This is just the Aldi brand one. Just so we get it a little bit warmed and combined. And some maple syrup. Again, feel free to swap out the sweetener. You could swap it out. You'll see later in the recipe we use some coconut sugar. You can use that for this part, or you could use honey instead. Peanut butter and honey is always a nice combination. I feel like it goes well with apple and cinnamon too. Oh, wow. Sorry, I'm so not paying attention to what's going on over there.
It doesn't usually do this.
Yeah, we'll turn that down a bit. There you go. All right, so this is a really hot stove. So we'll get this just warmed so that the sugar, or the maple syrup, and the butter mix together and combine. Shouldn't take very long. I think in the microwave at home I did this for about 30 seconds and that was done. Nearly there. It's just easier to combine the rest of the ingredients if the nut butter has warmed up and sort of liquefied a bit with the sweetener. Okay. Now, where's the thingy? Yeah. No, which way are we going? That way. No. Oh, shivers. My spatial awareness is terrible here. Okay. There we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's where we're at. Now we're going to add some flour. This is just plain old flour. Get that in there. We've got a tablespoon of almond flour, and I don't see why you couldn't swap out all the flour for almond meal if you wanted to keep it gluten-free. Haven't actually tried it, but I don't see why that wouldn't work. Pinch of salt just to balance the flavour out, and a little bit of vanilla, because why not? Vanilla's tasty. All right, now we're just going to give that a quick mix. It's going to be a crumbly mixture. You want it to be crumbly. Sorry, the stove isn't on anymore. I'm just still mixing on the stove. I've turned it off. You could transfer your butter mixture to a bowl and then mix it in that if you like. We're just saving on washing up here. All right, try and combine that flour in. You might have to adjust how much flour you use. I've just gone with the recipe here, but it's probably safer because each nut butter is going to have a different moisture content in it. So you might just have to adjust your flour depending on the moisture content of the butter. All right, now let's try this again. Oh, wrong one. Okay, there we go. You can kind of see it's a bit crumbly. All right, so we're going to put that straight into our lined pan. Oh, if I move this out of the way, you'll get a bit of a look too.
Sorry, in the beginning of the recipe you put 1/3 spoon nut butter. Is that third of a cup or third of a spoon?
Should be third of a cup, sorry. Third of a cup.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone. Thank you for pointing that out. Third of a cup.
1/3 of a cup.
Yep, 1/3 of a cup of nut butter.
There you go. Just make a note of that.
Okay, so that's good enough. Now we're going to just pat that down a little bit. No, that's not too hot. It's not going to melt nothing. All right, now I'm just going to go in and pat it down a bit and even it out so you get a nice flat base to work with. You could use a cup, like the base of a cup, to press this down if you didn't feel like using your hands. Like a glass or something. All right, so that's our base. Sorry, I'm doing this again. There we go. All right, we're going to pop that aside and we're going to work on our apple portion. Okay, so what I've got here is a washed Granny Smith apple. Feel free to use whatever apples you like to bake. This was just the one that was nice and cheap in the shop, so whatever you feel like. I did this recipe with a Pink Lady apple earlier, but Granny Smith works just fine. I also sliced my apple by hand when I did it at home, but my mother, being the genius that she is, used a mandolin. So we're just gonna, mandolin it straight into my flour. Wish me luck that I don't slice anything but the apple. Okay, we've got about halfway, and then we'll swap sides and do the other half. All right, close enough. We don't want to get too close to the seeds. And then I'll just do the other sides. Okay, we got the seeds there. Anyway, close enough. So if you don't have a mandolin slicer, this is obviously doable by hand, but it's quicker with the slicer. All right, we're just going to give them, oh sorry, Deborah's just adding the corn flour to her sauce. I'm going to continue stirring it for a minute, just till it thickens. This one's going to thicken a bit. So I'm just tossing my apple slices through the plain flour. Again, you could replace this with a different gluten-free flour if you were doing a gluten-free recipe. It's boiling over a bit. This stove is much hotter than the one we've got back there. I suppose you could use corn flour, chickpea flour, any sort of flour that's not normal flour I think would work, because you don't need much. It's just mainly to coat your apple slices. It just helps them, I guess, not really caramelize, but it sort of thickens them up, gives them something to bake on, if that makes sense. All right, so that's pretty good. I've got most of them coated. And I'm just gonna, oops. Sorry. It's done? There you go. Yeah. Deborah's just gonna show you what her sauce looks like. Oh good, it's not just me.
Oh, it's going to come out.
Oh, careful.
Can you see it? It's,
Yeah.
it's pretty thick.
So that changed colour, Deborah, didn't it?
It's like a nice reddish yellow.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah, it got darker. It's nice. No, you don't have to be too pretty with the apple slices because we're going to cover them anyway, so you don't actually see them. I'm just trying to make an even layer over the base. You could alternate the layers as well if you wanted to. So you could do a thin apple layer, some custard, more apples, more custard, if you wanted to, or you could end with more apples on top of the custard. I'm just going to use all of the apple because why not? We don't need anything going to waste. So I'm just going to fill in all the corners, all the edges. Nearly found them all, just digging through the flour here now. All right, that's, there's a little bit more. Okay. Oh, nice ringtone. I like your ringtone. Tell them you're busy, or tell them to join online. All right, floury hands. Okay, so that's my lovely apple layers. Trying not to drop them all. Okay, pop it aside again. Now we need a Vitamix or some sort of blender to make the custard layer. It's called custard, but like there's no egg at all in it. What we need is yogurt. Can you get me a, no, I do have a spoon here, sorry. That's good. All right, so recipe calls for a non-dairy yogurt. I've used the vanilla coconut yogurt. This one's from Aldi. But you could use different non-dairy yogurt. They make them out of oat these days. Trying to think what else they make them out of. I think there's nut versions as well. Anyway. Soy, yeah, soy, thank you. I've just gone with the vanilla flavour because I like the vanilla and I think it just adds an extra dimension, extra depth of flavour. We are adding extra vanilla too, so it's up to you if you want the vanilla yogurt. Alright, I'm just going to open, this is a brand new one. Oh, sorry, should have done this earlier. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to measure it out. So it's about 1.5 cups that we're going with. cup number 1. Cup and a half, yeah. So you can, there's little vanilla bean seeds through it. And you could be really specific and get another half cup measurement, but I'm going to eyeball a half cup in my cup measurement. And a little bit more. It uses most of the tub for the recipe. You probably could. I haven't actually tried that, so I'm scared too. All right, so that's our cup and a half of yogurt. Oh yeah, now you get to try. Then we've got a little bit of non-dairy milk. I think this is oat. It is oat, okay, we're going with oat milk, but yeah, again, soy, almond, whatever other milk you might want. And then we've got a teeny bit of vanilla going in there as well. We've got both plain flour and
Naya.
cornstarch going in here to help thicken it. And again, if you're trying to do it gluten-free, I think you could just replace all the flour with cornstarch. Each of those go in. And to sweeten it, I think on the recipe it says sugar or maple syrup. We've got sugar. This is coconut sugar that we're using. It's not much healthier than any other refined sugar. Technically, it does have a few extra nutrients compared to just a white refined sugar and a slightly lower glycemic index, but it's still sugar, so still go easy on it.
That's less refined.
It's less refined. Like you can see, it's pretty brown. Okay, so we're using that as our sweetener. Okay, and that was it that goes in there. So let me just pop this. How's it tasting? Is it good? Someone at the back said it reminds them of a Macca's apple pie. This is like the healthy version. All right, sorry, I'm just going to make some noise. All that. All right, let's bring this closer so I can see what I'm doing. It's going to look really liquidy, but as you can see, as it bakes, the flour in here helps to thicken it, and then it becomes sort of thick and custardy. And this, I'm hoping it's still warm. Is it still warmish? It's nice or warm. I've had it cold, it's nice or warm. So if you do sort of bake it, leave it in the fridge overnight, when you serve it, I recommend reheating it a bit. All right, so you just take your custard and you pour it across your apple slices, covering them as evenly as you can. All right. There we go. Nice thick layer of custard to cover everything. Let's not get that, thank you. All right, unlucky last step. Just move that out of the way, and that. We're going to cover it with some cinnamon sugar. So again, I'm going in with the coconut sugar, but you could swap it for whatever sugar you like. You could omit it all together and just put cinnamon if you like. Some cinnamon. Just mix those two together. And we're just going to sprinkle that over the top. A nice even layer. Try and get it to the corners if you can. There you go. Beautiful. That's even as we can. All right, now I'm too scared to lift that to the camera to show you because it'll just fall out. But that's it. You stick that in the oven for about 45, 50-ish minutes. I think that's what the recipe says. That's what I did anyway. That's what it says, 45 to 55 minutes. And then leave it out on your counter to cool down for about 15 because it'll still be a bit runny when you first pull it out. Cooling down helps it to thicken. And that's it. It says chill for an hour before slicing. Up to you. You can wait the 15 minutes and then serve it. But yeah, any questions? Okay, thank you. Oh, yes, go for it.
Any other options for plain flour? If I use almond, can I use almond flour for everything?
I think you can. I don't think you can replace the one in the custard with almond flour. I think for the custard, just do all cornstarch. But yeah, for the base, definitely almond flour rather than plain flour. And yeah, with the apples, either omit the flour altogether or replace it with either corn flour or even chickpea flour, I think would work fine. But yeah, in the custard, just do cornstarch if you want to omit flour, totally. Yeah, it's there to thicken it, and I don't think almond flour would do that. That's okay.
Okay, thank you. That's it?
That's it.
Okay. That's it. Thank you very much, ladies. And you enjoy those recipes? That's good. Who's going to go home and try some? Hey, thank you. Round of a thank you. And we hope you go home and try them out tonight, and or not tonight, but I mean try them out this week and see how they go. And I really like this nut loaf, calling it a meatloaf, but it's like a meatloaf, isn't it? It's very nice. Just letting you know, being a cooking demonstration night, for those couple here tonight, for the new ones, downstairs at the back of the hall here, but straight beneath, we have a little health food shop and delicatessen there kind of thing. And if you like to order any products there, being a cooking demonstration night, it is what? 10% off, everybody knows. That's why you all come tonight, isn't it? 10% off tonight. So being a cooking demonstration. Also, if you do have appreciated the recipes, there is a lot of ingredients that go towards all these, and the samples as well. And it just helps us out if you'd like to donate. You're not required to, but there's a little box there if you feel impressed. Just put it in that, you can feel free to donate in the little box that's on the table there. Okay, so I think that's it. Is there nothing else? No? Okay, how about where's all the guys, all the helpers? You want to bring them out? So we wouldn't be able to do this without all the people bringing it to you, right? So let's bring them out here. Okay, boys and young men. All right, thank you. Zephaniah, Owen, and the others, are they there coming? They're a bit shy, all right, but you know who they all are there. All right, so I just want to show our appreciation for the boys as well, the servers, all right? Come on, boys. Thank you. All right. So this now, I'd like to, this brings us to a close. We'll just bow our heads to thank the Lord and give us all a safe journey home. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you so much for all you've done for us and for this presentations tonight. We ask that you'll take care of us all, Lord, take us home safely, and we look forward to the time when we can meet again. Until then, may we take what we've learned here and apply it wisely, Lord, in our own families, our own kitchens, that we can live a healthier and better lifestyle, Lord, and look after our bodies as you've gave them to us. So we thank you for all these blessings and we ask these mercies in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, this is the last in the series, is it, tonight? Yeah, this is the last in the series tonight. The next series will be October. Okay? October? So September, is it? No, it's October. October. It's the first, I think it's the second Monday in October we start. General. Generally, the second Monday in October will start. All right, but we'll keep you posted. The banner will go up when we're nearby. We'll send out the text messages, emails. If you haven't got your your phone number or email, leave it at the desk there. If you'd like to receive invitations for the next series when we put them on. So usually we do it in May and October each year. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. Take care until we see you again. God bless, and enjoy the vegetarian way. Amen. Thank you. Good night.